Alrighty. So without further ado, welcome to the first of two candidate education sessions. This one will be more oriented specifically for lieutenant governor candidates, but of course we'll also go over briefly the other election opportunities. So for everyone who is going to be joining us on the recording, this is the district candidate education session. Without further ado, we're going to go into an introduction of the hosts. So I'll be our first host for today. My name is Dylan Nelson. I currently study business economics at the University of California, San Diego, and I proudly serve you as your CNH district governor. And for my co-host for this evening, we have SIE. SIE, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Asa, and I serve the CNH district as your guys' district secretary this term. And I'm a second year interior design student at Sacramento City College.
All right. Without further ado, for today, we're going to start off with a bit of an overview of the different district elected positions, and then we're going to go into, the campaign process, caucusing, getting voted in, creating some literature, and whatnot. And then at the very end, we'll have a little bit of a panel for any of our current district board members to kind of answer any questions that you guys might have about running, about any parts of that amazing process. So, without further ado, you might be wondering to yourself, maybe I'm considering the district board. Why should I serve on the district board? Well, for a lot of you who are on the fence, there's a lot of opportunities that you gain access to as a district board officer. You have the opportunity to serve beyond your home club, beyond your home school, working intercollegiately with the other clubs across of our district. You also get to represent our 30 collegiate clubs of our wonderful district, and you get to also get partake in a lot of large scale events. You have large scale service events. An example is the one from Fall Training Conference. We have large scale fundraising for charities and partner organizations, and it allows you to really get behind the planning and the event and the hosting part and create opportunities that are more impactful than just maybe, the 30 people of your club. Maybe putting together those 100 people, going out to clean 30 beaches as opposed to only two. Um, you also get the opportunity to support club leaders. Some of you are already club board officers. Maybe you served as president. Maybe you served as a secretary. Some of you have not done any of those. But either way, the clubs across our district are very, very diverse and very different, and each of them have their own unique culture. So you get an opportunity to experience that, to kind of help support them on their own CTI journey and kind of help build the journey for other people. We also have the awesome opportunity to network with people across California, Nevada, Hawaii, whether it's other CTI members or as Kiwanians. There's a lot of opportunities, especially when you're traveling, hosting events, and doing a lot of collaboration. And there, of course, there's also the closer connection that you have with Kiwanis advisors, some of whom pretty much the majority of our Kiwanis cast that is supporting us has a lot of background knowledge in their own respective professional careers. So we're going to go through a quick overview of the different positions, elected and appointed. For the elected district officers, these are people who are elected, whether by everyone in the district, by their division. The three executives of the district are the governor, secretary, and treasurer, who are elected at the district convention every single year. And then we also have 5 lieutenant governors from each of our 5 divisions who are elected at our divisional elections. And then, of course, at international convention, we elect our international officers, our president, our vice president, and our international trustees. There's also a variety of appointed district officer positions. Most of these are committee chairs, and committee chairs generally are in charge of their own committee. These are appointed by the district board and the elected district board officers that we were mentioning earlier. And we have a lot of different committees. We have communications marketing, district convention, fall training conference, Kiwanis Family and Foundation, member recognition, membership development, education, service, and a couple of ad hoc or special committees, including the President's Retreat, um, whoops, whoops, spring training conference, and onto international convention. Even though this is not the scope of today's workshop, I do want to point these out as potential opportunities if you're interested in getting involved as a district chair potentially. The applications are slated to be released somewhere around early January, and you'll get appointed. These positions will be filled late February following our district convention. So on to some of the elected positions and their specific duties. The very first one is our district governor. Our district governor serves as our chief executive officer of our California, Nevada, Hawaii district. They are also the chair and presiding officer of all district board meetings and district events. They're in charge of appointing the district chairs. They also establish and spearhead district goals and initiatives. So things like our district service initiative, things like our district fundraising initiatives, the governor's project, any kind of large scale project that the district's putting on. They kind of are the champion of that cause in terms of supporting that. They're also a direct liaison between our fellow Kiwanis family districts. We have, of course, our sponsoring Kiwanis. We have Key Club, we have Key Wins, we have Action Club, Builders Club, K Kids, all those other SLPs and Kiwanis family members that they interact with. And they're also a representative and kind of a council for our club presidents. As a club president, the district governor is kind of the person that you kind of come to talk to if you have an issue that you're like, hey, I don't know if we can resolve this within the club. We might need help or support, or they're generally the person who's directly communicating with the club presidents about updates and things that they kind of need to know. As well as, since they are an elected district board officer, they're one of the 8 voting members of our district board. Next, we have our district secretary. I'll let SIE explain that one.
So for the district secretary, you'll support all of your club secretaries in their completions of their monthly report forms, which you then go over and just review all the information, make sure it's correct. And you'll also be there to assist the secretaries in if they have any issues filling it out, whether it's formula issues or not knowing things like our tags that are with associated with each event. You also help the clubs with their club bylaws, since those are things each club should have and make sure it's up to date. You also give notice of our district board meetings, including the agendas, and then after the meetings, the minutes for that previous meeting. You also reviews the district bylaws, and you're also one of the voting members of the district board.
The last district executive position that we have is our district treasurer. Our treasurer is our chief financial officer of our district. They support our club treasurers, especially when it comes to fundraising and dues collection. They're kind of the person in charge of overseeing that. They make sure that rosters are complete whenever clubs are sending in the roster of their members, making sure that dues are actually paid, making sure our clubs are in good standing, helping clubs through that process, as well as district-wide fundraising activities, things like fundraising for either our district or fundraising for our charitable causes and our partners through our district fundraising initiatives. They're in charge of compiling our district board budgets, including our general budget, our budget for district convention, any kind of budgetary aspects. They are also one of the voting board members, and this year, it depends on what happens next year, they are the chair of the district fundraising and sponsorship committee. So here is a couple of general information and time commitments. Oh, I guess it's kind of out of order. My apologies. We'll be actually talking about our lieutenant governors. So, like I mentioned, we have 5 lieutenant governors for each of our 5 divisions. Lieutenant governors serve as a local representative of the governor. They are kind of the head of their division. The big thing that they do is counseling their clubs on recruitment and retention, helping their clubs have effective programs, events, and helping charter new clubs and kind of help boost the membership of existing clubs. They are the direct liaison between the district and their clubs. and they're their ambassador to their Kiwanis family counterparts. So, for example, your Kiwanis lieutenant governors, your Key Club lieutenant governors, those individuals, they are the one-to-one liaison. So whenever they're doing a joint Kiwanis or joint Kiwanis family events, they're the primary contact. They also lead and manage their own division leadership team. So, as a lieutenant governor, you are aided by a leadership team, generally between 5 to 8 people that the lieutenant governor appoints. And these people kind of help the lieutenant governor host division events. So, as the head of your division, the lieutenant governor does quite a few events. One of them that they do monthly is the division council meeting. And through the division council meeting, it's a forum for all of the club presidents monthly to get together with the lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor gives updates about the district, about their division, about international, and they kind of discuss either topics or events happening inside of the division. The lieutenant governor can also host things like division service projects or division fundraisers or any kind of event to kind of bolster the unity and the inter-club connection between clubs. The big goal between the lieutenant governor and strengthening their division is by building that inter-club relationship between each of their clubs in that respect. The lieutenant governors also are each voting members of the district board. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, we'll have an opportunity towards the end for any questions about specific parts of being a lieutenant governor as well. So some time commitments that we have. We're going to go ahead. We're going to overview a bit of the key dates that we have, specifically conventions and conferences that the district hosts. Essential duties, including so some of the essential duties that people as district board officers do is making sure they communicate to their constituents, their club presidents, their clubs, and lieutenant governors do that through monthly division council meetings. So that direct forum in order to give updates. They also occasionally do things like email newsletters, have an active social media page, in order to give club members the full opportunities they have access to. I mean, at the end of the day, we pay $42 in dues. We want to make sure that our members get every opportunity that they get through that. They also communicate with their Kiwanis advisors. So each district board officer has a Kiwanis advisor. They make sure they keep regular content. The thing about the Kiwanis advisor is unlike district board officers who serve a year of a term and then they kind of move on. Generally, Kiwanis advisors have been there for multiple terms and they have that kind of advice and helping hand. So even if you are thinking about running and you're like, wow, I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do. I feel really nervous. I feel like I'm going to screw up. Don't worry, you have your fellow district board officers as well as your mentors that help guide you through your term. They also do club visits. Lieutenant governors do 2 visits to each club throughout the length of their term. So that's helping, boost unity, visiting clubs, seeing what each club has, if they have any issues, if there's any way you can support them, or just having fun. It's always fun to go and see other clubs. I, as a past lieutenant governor, that was my favorite part of being a lieutenant governor was visiting clubs, attending events, being able to meet people. Remember at the very beginning, I said networking is one of the big benefits. You get countless opportunities to meet people, bond with people that you really would not have gone otherwise. You also represent your division at Kiwanis family functions. So if for example, Key Club invites you to their region training conference, or Kiwanis has their governor's visit coming, they might ask you to go and attend. You get those awesome opportunities, lots of good food, lots of good people, and whatnot. So going a little bit more in depth with the key events. So as a district board officer, it's important that you kind of make note of this. If you're thinking about running, these are the events that you have to attend, or unless otherwise stated. So the big one is district convention. Since it's the penultimate event of the year, every district board officer attends a district convention. If you're a newly elected lieutenant governor, you'll be attending district convention and helping represent uh, and kind of learn the process, meet all your constituents is a great opportunity to meet people. If you're running for district executive, well, it's kind of hard to run if you're not there. So there you go. You have district convention. In May, there's the spring training conference, north or south, depending on where you are geographically. Uh, in June, there's the Summer District Board Weekend. District Board Weekends are essentially trainers for district board members. Although it's not required, we do highly encourage you attend the international convention. I will be there. Several of our other district board members will be there. I highly encourage going to the convention even just once. This year it's in Pittsburgh, um, and there'll be more information as the year goes on for international convention. There is also the Kiwanis District Convention and also the President's Council Summit, which occurs in August. So that's an opportunity for district board members to directly meet with club presidents and communicate with them, and also for you to get a perspective of what Kiwanis does when they host their district convention. In November, there's Fall Training Conference. It says 2023, but it means 2025. And 2026 of January, we have our Winter District Board Weekend. In February, there's the Kiwanis Midyear North or South, depending on where you are geographically. And then February to March will be the district convention for next year. And then kind of your retire, which is also when you're going to be retiring. And at the very end, you have either Spring Training Conference North or South to help, train successors and all that. If you are intending to run for governor, there's a couple of other events. Some optional. It's kind of tentative depending on a lot of aspects. Though in the past year, I had the opportunity of going to. We have the Kiwanis District Convention and the Key Club District Convention for 2025. In May, there is the Spring Training Conference North and South. Um, there is also International Convention. International Convention is a required event to attend. There's also Major North, Major South. You'll see a lot of parallels: Kiwanis District Convention, Key Club District Convention, and Spring Training Conference North and South. Uh, in case you're like, whoa, Dylan, that's a lot of dates. I'm trying to copy them down. I didn't get a chance to. Don't worry. We will also be sending this out via email if you didn't get this. Um, so that you can kind of put these dates in your calendar and see if it works for you. All right, next up we have running for office. So the timeline for running or applying is depending on the position you're looking to go for. For lieutenant governor candidates, around December/January, lieutenant governor elections will be happening on the division level. So generally, each of your current lieutenant governors will be organizing their own division elections. If you, for whatever reason, aren't able to find the information on that, feel free to reach out to either me or SIE, or also check your division's resources, whether that's your mailing list or your Instagram or other pages for those resources. So each division has their own specific timeline on that process, but we'll talk about things that are universal across all of our division elections later on. In February, end of February is our district convention. So around this time of February, we'll have our district executive elections, as well as at the end of February, also appointments for our district chairs. And then if you're seeking things like international office or to be an international trustee, international convention is, I believe, June. So that will be around the June-July timeline for those elections as well. Some general information. Uh, as a candidate, if you decide to run, you'll have the opportunity to have a campaign team who will be able to help you with your platform, kind of assist you with, working on your strategy for your election, being able to support you if you're running at district convention. Members of your campaign cannot be existing district board members or Kiwanis family members. So don't choose the people who are already voting for you, I guess, is the lesson there. Uh, there's also a campaign code of ethics that you will sign as a candidate. We'll go into depth a little bit later on that. There's also a nomination process, which we'll discuss, some paperwork, and then that's the process of getting your name onto the ballot. So typically, the process as a candidate goes something like this. If you are running for office, you can seek endorsement. If you are running for lieutenant governor, you can seek endorsement from your club. If you're running for a district executive position, you can seek endorsement from any club within your division. An endorsement is not a requirement to be part of the election process, but you're able to basically tell people that you are endorsed or you have the support of, a club or two or whatnot. So if you're wondering how do endorsements work, well, if you are seeking endorsement from a club, go ahead and reach out to the club. Let them know that you would like to seek their endorsement. And during one of their general meetings, or they will have a vote whether or not to endorse you. Each club has a slightly different specific process of doing so, but that's the gist of how the endorsement process works. Um, Next up is the nomination process. So you'll see here for each of these elections, they talk a lot about delegates. Delegates are the people who are actually going to be voting for you. So if you're a lieutenant governor, each club in your division will have two delegates that they can appoint. So in order to be nominated, you have to be nominated by one of the delegates, and another delegate, not the same person, has to second your nomination. So once you have been nominated and then seconded, you will become a valid candidate. You'll be fully nominated to partake in the election process. Nominations depends on the division level, depends on um, what the process is for the division election, though generally nominations do occur on the same day of the election, just before the actual speaking and caucusing part. So once you get your nomination the day of your election, generally someone from your home club perhaps nominates you and seconds you. Congratulations, you're a candidate, and the next start of the process is speaking and caucusing. So as a candidate, you'll have a couple of minutes to give a speech to address your voters, and then they will have caucus, which is an opportunity for them to ask you questions about your platform. Generally, each division election will have a very specific time for their speech and their caucus. Generally, something like 3 minute speech, 2 minute caucus. It can kind of change depending on where it is. Though, generally, for if you're running for a district executive, you can probably expect something closer to 3 to 4 minutes of speech and 1 to 2 minutes of caucus. After speech and caucus is done, you will leave the room, and then the delegates will vote on who to elect as their lieutenant governor, their district governor, whoever it may be. So for each of the elections, depending on the position you're pursuing, you have kind of a little different audience. If you're running for lieutenant governor, the voting body will be the two delegates from every club in the division. If you're running for district office, uh, or district to be a district executive, your audience will be two club delegates from each of the 30 schools that are represented at district convention. So basically across the district, as well as some delegates at large, which are the current district board voting members. So your current lieutenant governors, myself, SIE, our district treasurer, are also delegates at large. Uh, the last one is if you're seeking international endorsement. It depends on the endorsement level, and we will talk about that towards the end of this presentation. So, let's say you're interested in running for office. What is the thing that you need to start with? So, in order to become a valid candidate, you need to submit these four documents. Uh, I believe I'll send out a link for these resources as well afterwards. But the first one is the application for candidacy. So this will be sent out short at the end of this weekend for everyone, and this includes things such as your name, your position, your current address, basically your information, and then you basically sign off like, "Hey, I am intending to run. This is my signature. I'm going to run," and then you get the signature of your club president, your club secretary, and then either your Kiwanis advisor or your Kiwanis club president. So these people are like, yep, this person is running. We can vouch that they're a dues paid member, and that they haven't, um, that they're a dues paid member, that they meet the requirements to run for election. Um, Second one is your service agreement. Depending on what position you're running for, each position has a different service agreement. So the service agreement basically outlines the very nitty-gritty of what your position will do. And you are basically signing that, hey, if elected, I am pledging that I will fulfill my duties as a district officer. And I understand these duties because they're written out in this lovely 4-page document. So you sign off on these two documents. The next one is enrollment verification. So in order to be a member of Circle K International, let alone a candidate, you have to be at least half-time status as a student at a collegiate institution. You will print out a copy of enrollment verification from your local university. Enrollment verification looks something like this is not the correct form. But enrollment verification, you can generally find it on your school portal. Generally under one of the tabs, if you have, yeah, whatever your school portal is, if for whatever reason you can't find it, your counseling department should be able to assist you. But enrollment verification is a one-page document that says this person is a full-time student or this person is a half-time student. It is a very simple document. It doesn't really have a lot on it. That's quite literally what it says. That's its entire purpose. And that is one of the documents you'll be submitting. The last one you'll be submitting is the potential for candidate literature. Uh, Let me show an example of candidate literature. Give me one moment. So as a person who's running, each of your elections, whether that is your division election or whether that is your um, district election, you'll have the opportunity to curate candidate literature. Candidate literature is a piece of paper that will go into the official candidate literature docket. So an example is there'll be a docket similar to this. And for each person, each candidate, you will have your literature submitted. This will also be sent out to all of the voting delegates who will have a chance to see your literature. And it's a good way of kind of explaining to people why they should vote for you. So there's quite a few different examples that we'll also send out in our post email, and you'll be able to see what it is. But generally, the requirements is a one-page standard paper for your literature as well. Let me pull back our lovely presentation. All right. So those are the 4 materials that you will submit. Generally, you submit these 1 to 2 weeks before the election. Each different election will have their own timeline, but generally either Google Form or through email are the most popular methods. You will submit your 4 documents. And yeah, yippee! You submit all the paperwork. You signed a billion documents, and you're ready to become a candidate. One thing to note is on um, the campaign is you cannot attend Circle K events with the intention to campaign. So if you're running to be a district executive, one thing that is very, very outlined is you cannot begin campaigning until the district convention has actually started. So if I want to run for governor, I cannot, right now, I cannot go text SIE. I'm like, hey, SIE, my name is Dell Nelson. I'm ready to be district governor. This is my platform. You know, you should totally vote for me. You cannot campaign until the beginning of district convention. That is a very, very strict rule. For lieutenant governors, in general, you also cannot campaign until your division elections. So just something to note uh, as well. Uh, so your campaign team. If you're interested in having a campaign team, you're welcome to. As a lieutenant governor, you're able to have 1 to 2 people. If you're running for district executive, you can have 3 to 4 people. Your campaign team can introduce you before giving your speech. Note, you don't get extra time. This is not additional time to your speech time. The person speaking will take a portion of your speech. They can help you review your platform, your speech. They can help you create campaign materials. Notice it doesn't say they cannot help you campaign. They should not be helping you campaign before you're allowed to campaign. Um, Things like literature, other elements that are okay within the campaign ethics. And they cannot be a district or international officer. They cannot be an existing officer in any way. So do not recruit these people to be on your campaign. Um, Division and district elections. So as we stated before, lieutenant governors are elected at your division elections. Um, Your delegates at the division only elect their lieutenant governor. All the other positions are elected at district convention, and that's what the House of Delegates will vote on. For caucusing, for those who don't know, like speech and caucusing, generally what we recommend is you introduce yourself, your school, your major, what you've done in Circle K, any kind of experience that you have for the position you're running for, any personal qualities that you think are would be beneficial. Also, your speech, the content of your speech. What is your vision, your platform for uh, your division or for the district? Um, you cannot name, criticize candidates. That is something that you're not allowed to do. Your generally the idea is to promote your platform and why your platform is strong. You cannot, basically have a smear campaign of any kind. Um, you can also describe what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, what your plan is, why people should vote for you. We highly recommend that you kind of know your audience, know the people, what clubs are facing with, what you can do to, help your constituency. Um, Last but not least, if you're interested in running for international office, you can download the elections packet from circlek.org. The eligibility is that you meet a 2.5 GPA and you've served at least one term in any other position in Circle K, club, district, any position at all. You seek endorsement from one of these people. The way you seek endorsement is very similar to seeking district office. You go to the group of people that you're looking to seek endorsement for, and you say, "Hey, I want to seek endorsement from you," and then they kind of guide you on their process. For the district House of Delegates, this happens at our district convention. If you're seeking endorsement from the district board, you can ask me, and that will be one of the items that we put on for a board meeting. If you are seeking endorsement from your home club, you talk to your club president. Same thing for your home club board. Uh, Information about running for elections will come out as we get closer to April. But currently, you have to file paperwork similar to what you do for the district elections, but for the international elections. And the positions available are the international president, our international vice president, and our international trustees. And if you have any questions about running for international office, feel free to either email me or talk to me or anything um, outside of that, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have on there. So the last thing that we do have is a panel for any questions. I know some of you have asked a lot of questions. I really wanted to hold off till we got to the end here, so that we had the opportunity to answer all questions that you guys might have, um, as well. But before, yeah. So if you guys, today we have myself, of course, our district secretary, S.I. Sedano. We're also joined by Scott Smith, who is the Assistant District Administrator of our district. And we're also joined by Ethan Hong, who is our District Membership Development Education Chair. So if you have any questions for any of us regarding anything about running for election, feel free to ask. I do ask that you raise your hand, and then if you raise your hand, I'll just say your name and you're free to ask your question. Samantha.
Hi guys. Um, what would you guys say the biggest pro and con is about being on the board?
Uh, I can go ahead and go first, and I'll pass it along to someone. I think the biggest pro for being on the district board is honestly the people that you get to meet. And for me, I think that for me it's really about the people. You know, getting to meet people who are, you know, me being in Southern California, who are Northern California, from Las Vegas, from Hawaii, being able to collaborate with club presidents, kind of hear what people are doing, even talking more on the personal side, creating those friendships, either whether that's professional networking, all those opportunities. I love also going to all the amazing events, whether it's planning and putting on our district convention. It's really rewarding. Fall training conference is a lot of fun. Going to, you know, Kiwanis events as well, Kiwanis District Convention. This past year, I went to Hawaii for the Kiwanis District Convention. So traveling is definitely a bonus, depending on what you do run for. If there is any con, I would say like any other commitment, there is time commitment. It's like if you are doing any other extracurricular, if you're part of any other club, any other position, there is a time commitment. A lot of times, you might have to help, you know, plan an event. You might have to help put together your division leadership team. And so if you're somebody who you already feel is really overwhelmed with your time commitment schedule, maybe you have to take some time and kind of organize yourself or consider what you want to do in that respect. And Ethan or SA, if you guys want to answer on that as well.
I can add on. So for me, I think I would say around the same pro that Dylan said. I think the people are meeting various people is one of the best things about district board, whether it's the fellow officers on the district level, and then also for me, club secretaries, talking to them is fun. And also all the Kiwanians you get to meet, they have a lot of insight. I know I get an amazing advisor, so that's a plus. And then for a con, I would say as my second go around, I wouldn't say as a whole that district officers has anything. I think the biggest one is just self-imposed by myself is that time management with sometimes it conflicts like around final season. It's not the best, but overall, I just think they're the pros outweigh the cons for me personally.
I would love to add on too. So I think the pros, it's so true. Being with an amazing team from across all California, Nevada, Hawaii is really fun, especially since as a district board member, you're invited to come out to all the district trainings, which might sound boring, but they are a lot of fun too because we're not only are doing a lot of leadership and leadership development, but also doing a lot of fellowship on the off times with the rest of the board. And I think it makes it much more rewarding when we're all working together to put on the big events for the rest of the district members, such as Fall Training Conference and District Convention. In that regard, sort of similar to what Asai said in terms of time management, depending on the position or what you make of it, it can get uh, stressful and time consuming at times. I think for me as a appointed chair, it might be a little bit different, but I thought the planning for Fall Training Conference was a lot, and so time management was very important.
So thank you, Ethan. If anyone else has any other questions, feel free to raise your hand. Um, and yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be about running for office. It can be about any of the positions that we discussed about, or just being on the district board in general. You're welcome to ask any and all questions. Oh, Sam again?
Sorry. Okay. Would I encourage you guys to run for like this position you guys hold?
I would say for me personally, I think I last year I served as a lieutenant governor for the Seaside Division, and for me, I thought that, you know, being the district governor had a lot of upsides. You know, I'd worked with the clubs. I loved visiting clubs. I loved working with club presidents. Some of my favorite friends in CKI are mostly club presidents or have been club presidents in some capacity. And for me, being in the role of the district governor was a great opportunity to work with them. I also felt that our district at the time needed a lot of direction and a lot of kind of vision and motivation to kind of grow. And for myself, I kind of took that on as like a personal challenge. So that was kind of the reason behind why I wanted to run as district governor. Um, and yeah, I absolutely love every moment. And there's a couple of pluses as district governor. You get to be on the Rose Float, and you also get to travel. So those were definitely sellers as well. SI or Ethan, if you guys want to answer on that.
I can add on. So for me, I I enjoyed the last term as district board officer. I wanted to continue in Circle K in this direction, and secretary felt like the best position with things I enjoyed doing. I enjoy a lot of the technical aspects of it, like dealing with things like our agenda. So it just based off of the basic requirements on it, I found that it would be the most of if I would be the most effective in this type of position. And I enjoy the aspect and communication as well with it. I think it's fun sending out emails sometimes, and I send a lot of those out for MRFs. So just aligned with things I enjoyed from last term and carried over to this term.
Ethan, if you have anything.
Yes, I would love to add on. I know this session isn't really about my position, but I think for me, the reason that I am on the appointed district board is really because last year I had so many opportunities to meet last year's district board, including Dylan and SIE, at district events, and as well as for my position as president, had the immense opportunity to attend the President's Council Summit. So working with them really inspired me to do more to serve the district and return the joy that district and district events have given me. And of course, I get to work with the same amazing people that I saw last year, so that's a big plus.
Yeah, something I will say I do want to comment on is the fact that, members of the district board really come from, different roles that they've done last year. For me, last year was being lieutenant governor for SIE. It was being a district chair. For Ethan, it was being a club president. So no matter, what current position or what involvement you've had. Pretty much all of us have been involved in committees as well at one point or another. Some of us are still part of committees as well. Um, you know, uh, I highly encourage you to run. You never know. You never know. Scott, if you want to say something.
Oh yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is like many of you guys here, I mean, you're already working with the district in some way, shape, or form. I mean, it's just a lot of it is just a time commitment of, putting in the effort to getting all the work done. It's just like any other position you take, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And then you can really see like how well you'll progress and grow over time. And then for all the positions, you always have a good variety of meeting a lot of people from across the district and all kinds of different roles. And that's probably one of the best things you get to um, work with others, and especially with the Kiwanians there too. We try to make this really good network of advisors that are there for you. We all try to help out and reach out to you guys as much as possible. And we're there to help guide you to getting everything done. So you're never really alone. You always have there's always a good support system throughout the whole thing. So, um, I mean, it's probably one of those experiences that if you're on the fence, you should definitely try it and go for it because it's like you'll gain so much more from doing it through the process. Thanks.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Scott. It's something that if you honestly won't you won't feel it until you actually try. Um, Unfortunately, I will have to for the perspective of the webinar, we'll have to wrap up here in a second. But if you do have additional questions, you're welcome to stay behind at the end of the meeting as well and ask any questions that you have as well. Or if you have any other comments, questions, or concerns at any point in time, you're more than welcome to reach out to me and SIE. Our emails are here. They're also on the district website. If you ever want to get in contact with us or ask us questions about being part of the election, maybe you don't know where your divisional elections resources are, maybe you want to get in contact with your lieutenant governor emails are also on the website. If for whatever reason you can't find it, feel free to reach out to us and we can definitely redirect you or also direct your lieutenant governor to you in order to ask those questions. Yeah, Ethan also put his email in the chat. Um, I do want to thank everyone who is going to be watching this webinar, as well as everyone who has attended in person to learn more about what it's like to run for office. If you guys have any questions, either contact us, feel free to stay behind. I will have to run, but SIA, potentially Scott and Ethan might have some time to answer some additional questions. Um, but yeah, I want to thank you guys all for attending, and I hope you all have a lovely rest of your weekend and a lovely holidays. So I'll give me a second to turn off this recording.